Welcome to the Bradshaw Chronicles. I'm your host, Christy Bradshaw, and the sponsor of this show is Creotology. You can check them out at www.creotology.com. Today we have Bryan Whatley. He is a radio show host, he's a public speaker, a paranormal extraordinaire. Hey Bryan, I'm glad you're here. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Ready to hear about all of these projects that you have going on all the time.
Well, I'm doing great. I do have a lot of projects going on. I think that's one of the worst traits I could possibly have. If anybody was to critique me, I would say that I multitask way too much. So, but I love doing different things, and I think that's where it gets me where I am. Just busy.
Sounds like me, kind of. Oh my goodness, the things you get yourself into.
No. As long as you stay fun and lighthearted with it, and you don't let it get you depressed or bring down other people, I think it's all good.
Oh yeah, so, it's fun.
Whether you do one thing or 50 things, as long as you can handle it and the people around you are supportive, I think you have more power to you.
I think it's just awesome, the things that you do. You've done a lot of different things, public speaking in many different ways. What kind of public speaking have you done?
Okay. Well, one thing of it is I've always been one of those kind of people who just like to talk. I'm an engineer by trade, and so most engineers are introverts, which means they normally just like to stay within their shell. Well, I like to get outside my shell. And with public speaking, somebody had brought me into an organization called Toastmasters International. It's Toastmasters.org, Toastmasters.org, if you want to go look it up, and I encourage everybody to join it. It's a great organization. It's worldwide. Millions of members are involved with it. But some of the stuff that they teach you is about public speaking. And if you look at the two major fears, one of them being death, public speaking actually outranks death as far as the number one fear in the world for people to get up and do. Toastmasters actually helps you with that. So it teaches you proper intro, proper body, proper exit, teaches you how to work with the audience, teaches you all kinds of aspects in terms of speaking a lot of people overlook. But on the other side of that, it also teaches you leadership in terms of small group discussion, how to hold meetings, how to lead an organization, how to talk to different people on small settings. So if you're looking to actually get into public speaking and you're not quite sure about how to do it or where to go for it, then check it out, Toastmasters.org. It's an amazing organization. I was actually the Area 14 governor here in Mobile over several different clubs, over about 4 or 5 different clubs for a year, and then I was our company's club president for 2 years. Outstanding organization. One of the things I talk on is a couple of different things. One is definitely the paranormal, because I'm so involved in the paranormal industry and everything that goes about as far as getting out and speaking between whether it's just meeting another group or whether it's speaking at conferences. I actually speak at a lot of different conferences, or whether a couple of times it's private organizations that will call me in just to talk about it, or schools. I was looking at schools before. But other than that, I also do motivational and counseling for different companies and different areas. And one of the things about public speaking is it always doesn't have to be sad. It doesn't always have to be on one particular topic. You have to pick your audience,
right,
and go talk about that. So it's fun to do. It really is, and it's just the ability to get up there and do it.
And it's really inspirational for other people, and it makes them feel more empowered, and that makes you feel happy and empowered as well. That's really good.
It really does.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that you share the love.
Yeah.
That term, share the love. But what you're doing whenever you empower somebody else to become better and stronger within themselves, you kind of get this little bit of feeling back, saying, I feel good about helping somebody.
Yeah.
I feel good about getting them on their right path, getting them pulled up out of wherever they were, that bad place in their life, and moving forward. And sometimes, whether it's a big organization I'm speaking in front of, or whether it's just somebody that I just so happen to be chatting with over the phone or in person, I'm walking through the store and they meet me and they're saying, "Hey, Bryan, how you doing?" And I kind of pick up a feeling from them that they're kind of down now, and I'll actually get people to open up and start talking. Before you know, they think I'm some counselor. They're on couch, just opening up their whole world. They're like, I have no clue on how I just told you all that stuff. I'm like, that's fine, that's great. And I give them different areas and ways to go to move ahead, and they're pretty happy with it. So I just love doing that. I just love talking to people.
Oh, it's amazing. And when I hear you talk, a lot of times when I hear you talk, I've talked to Bryan several times on the phone, I can hear you smile. And that's really good for people. It's really good for people. And I walk around with this smile plastered on my face most of my days of my life, and people just look at me like, "Oh, I can't believe you're so happy. What is wrong with you?" But if you don't get up every day with a smile on your face and try to make it a great day, what else is there?
That's right. I love to smile. I remember one time when I think I was 14. I used to be in the military, combat military police. I got back from Iraq. I was there for 15 years. But when I was 14, I was in ROTC camp, and people from all over, like tri-state region, came to Fort Rucker, Alabama, and we were standing in line in a platoon formation, and there was this person standing next to me, and she looked over at me, and I looked back over at her, and I smiled. She was like, "Why are you smiling so much?" I said, "Because I like to smile. That's who I am." She says, "Well, where I come from, people don't smile, or otherwise they think something about them."
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh my God, that is sad."
That is very sad.
I'm sorry. My name's Ryan, and I'm going to smile. So that's
that would make a lot of people's day, in my opinion. A big smile on somebody's face. It's funny, you go in places now like Walmart or Target or anywhere just about, and you see these people working their tail off, and they're just so disgusted with everything they're having to deal with, and they don't even smile and say thank you. But the funny thing is that if they would put a little effort forward and smile and say thank you, it would make them feel so much better themselves.
Exactly. One of the tricks that I found out about in getting people to smile and to feel better is when you said earlier you can actually hear me smile.
Yeah.
A lot of times whenever I smile, I actually breathe out in a form of a laughter, so I combine the smile and the laughter together.
Right.
When I exhale, what I'm doing is I'm actually releasing negative energy. I try to release negative energy or negative feelings about me out. And so I don't contain them within. And so whenever I see somebody at Walmart, even like the cashier, and I know she's been there for 7.5 hours, she speaks to end her 8-hour shift,
Yeah.
I will, smile to her and say, "Thank you, and have such a wonderful, blessed day," and go into a laughter. And her face will lighten up. She's like, "Oh, well, thank you." And then she has like a little pep in her step. But it's giving that amount of energy and that love and light out to somebody. And sometimes you'd be surprised at how much effect that you can have throughout your day to different people, and how much that will spread to other people as well.
You do a lot of speaking on paranormal also. What's your experience? What's your experience with the paranormal?
One of the things is I'm director of Ghost Hunters of the South here in Mobile, Alabama, and you can find us on www.ghots.net, that's ghots.net. I am the co-host of Comments of the Night on Blog Talk Radio, which we're now moving over to Talk Shoe Radio, and also I'm the paranormal news anchor on Parachallenge Radio. The great thing about paranormal, I've been doing this since I was a kid. Actually, one of my aunts had just found out about me doing this, and she said, "What got you started in the paranormal?" And she didn't know how long I did. I said, Aunt Sharon, I actually have been doing this since I was a child. And she said, "Why?" And I said, "It was the ghost inside your house." She said, "Are you talking about?" Yes, it was the horseman. That she has a horseman in her house that would ride through her hallway.
Oh.
Ever since that event when I was a child, I've always been interested in it. And the difference of it is, and I'm about to date myself, the difference of it is back in the 1970s, it was not as much publicity about the paranormal or how to research it, how to get involved, and how to meet different people that are in 2010, 2011 because of the internet, because of internet radio shows, internet TV shows in general on cable vision, TV shows just in general, period. The movies that you see, there's a whole lot more publicity about it now to where people can get involved, and you see a massive jump between paranormal investigators and researchers between what they were back in the 70s when I first started reading about it and when I first started doing it in terms of just asking and watching more shows and gaining knowledge than ever before. Even over, if you look at the rise and fall of paranormal between, I guess it was around, I want to say it was somewhere around 80 80-ish, the mid-80s, is whenever a couple of other well-known shows had come out, movies had come out, like Poltergeist and Amityville and, those scenes.
Right.
Even if you go back and look at that, and I love the quote, I believe it's Poltergeist, where the little girl, Carol Ann, what do they have there? They have a team of people who come into the house, and what do they have? They have video cameras, they have audio recorders. What are they looking for? They're looking for ghosts. What do they see coming down the stairs? They see orbs. They have different things that they do. The team analyzes it, watches it. All that stuff has been going on for a very, very long time. It's just not until now the publicity of it comes out where so many people can say, actually, I've always been interested in that, and I can get into it. And so I've been reading and researching this for between TV shows and movies and different books I pick up, from the grandfathers of Hans Holzer to the people of today who's coming out with some really great technology. And I'm an engineer by trade, and so I like to use my engineering skills to apply it to scientific methodologies, to apply it towards paranormal, and how to define that in terms of physics and mathematics. That's what one of my specialties is. And then I even take that a little bit step further. I actually research psychic mediums and people with special abilities, whether it's psychometry, whether it's clairvoyance, clairaudience, whether they can astral travel, remote view, whatever else. It's determining on how that person is actually able to use their gifts and their special abilities and apply that toward the mathematical science behavior. And hopefully, one of the gadgets I will actually try to invent is to take the lessons that I learned from studying people with those abilities and apply that towards a mechanical engineering type of perspective. But right now, it's very, very difficult. Even after the decades that we've been studying paranormal research, even way before the 70s, it's still so much that's unknown.
Right.
And so people always ask me, why do you choose? Because when you're a scientific paranormal person on one side, most of the time, you're not into the psychic, the medium, and the metaphysical on the other side. And that's where I'm trying to bring the line together and say, and even if you, I'll quote Hans Holzer, is you can take all your tools and all your gadgets and all your toys and throw them away. The only real form of communication between speaking to the dead and spirit communication is the use of a medium. And so when I read that, I was like, thanks, Hans. I might as well throw away the thousands of dollars of equipment that I have now because they're just toys.
Yeah.
But he's right. He is so right about that.
Yeah.
Because the mind and the human body is the greatest engineering device ever created.
Right.
And we have still yet to tap all the abilities of it and how it's all done.
Right.
So I've seen some people, some mediums and psychics do some amazing things before, and how did they do that? I don't know. And that's what's so intriguing to me as an engineer involved in that problem.
I think a lot of it is how open you are to things. I don't necessarily believe that you need to have a psychic medium. That's just my opinion. I think that anybody can open their mind up to just about anything, and if you believe that it can happen, it probably can,
Exactly.
And if you really want to hear something on the other side, I believe you probably can. If you just get your mind to that set, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
I completely agree with that.
I don't think I want to be there in that set. I don't know if I really want to know what's over there yet. Some days I do. Some days I'd like to know, but then some days I'm a little scared of it.
Well, I like to put it in the perspective of sports terms, because I also coach 4- or 5-year-old football, so I like to talk about things in terms of sports. If I was to relate people's ability towards forms of sports, I'd say I'm 5'7", I'm a white guy. I could take a basketball, I could actually dribble it down the court, I could probably get close to the basket, jump a few inches, shoot at the backboard, and maybe once or twice actually hit it into the goal. Hit it and make it maybe a full net, a nothing but net kind of a shot. I am not the person, and when it comes to psychic abilities, that's where everybody needs to realize, just like what you said, everybody has that ability, and they have to train that.
Right.
They have to be able to know their skills and their talent levels. Me, I'm the short white guy on the court. There are people out there, that's the Michael Jordan, who can actually hit the 3-point, shooting at the buzzer to win the NBA Finals right at the clock kind of a shot. And it's just pure, raw talent. Some people just naturally have that gift. Then you have people who have to work for it, and then you have some that really have to work for it. So, again, I'm the short white guy that's running on the field trying to get the net. But
yeah. I know a few people that that are like you're talking about, the Michael Jordans of that. Yeah, I know a few like that, and I know that they're so good. I'm afraid to ask them anything. I don't know if I want to know, but I like the way you're looking at it, though. I really do. And you go to schools and you talk to students about these things.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. A lot of times, here recently, a lot of stuff that I go to school for is more motivational kind of stuff. But once they find out that I do this on the other side, in terms of paranormal research and studying ghostology, then they really start asking questions.
I bet. I bet.
One of the main things that they ask about is how you get into it. And I always go back to, well, plenty of material, start reading about it before you start doing it.
Yeah.
The other thing with working with psychics, you mentioned this, is you have to be careful whenever because I work with so many different mediums psychics all around the world, you have to be careful when you're working with them, because there's this golden rule that they have about reading you. And either you want to be read and you give them your permission, or you don't. When I work with them, I don't give them permission to read me. That's right. There's nothing about my love life, nothing about my job, nothing, those kind of standardized questions that will always ask psychic mediums with my lotto numbers and all that other stuff that I will ask, because that's not the form that I need or research that I do. But I ask, and a lot of times if you see me on Blog Talk Radio, I'll call into different psychic shows, and I'll ask certain questions such as, is there a spirit or an entity trying to communicate with me?
Right.
Because that's what I'm looking for, the spirit communication. And so then they take that, and if that spirit is trying to communicate with me, what is it that they want to say? And from there, whatever the spirit then comes through and talks to the psychic medium and tells me, it's perfectly fine. But it's not the medium actually reading into me, or the psychic reading into me and saying, oh, by the way, you've got this. Oh, by the way, you've got to do that. I have had a medical reading done on me one time before, and it completely amazed me. That wasn't somebody else researched, and they just said, hey, for fun, let me do a medical reading on you. I was like, okay, that's the first time I had it. She went through and picked out several things about me that nobody knew.
Yeah.
Even down to my knees. She was like, oh, you've got bad knees, don't you? And I was like, well, yes, I sure do. Thank you for bringing it out. I was like, wow. It depends whenever you're working with them, whenever you call in and talk to them. There are guidelines and rules that they go by, and they respect for whatever it is that you want to know. And be careful, because sometimes psychic mediums have good news to tell you, or they don't.
Right.
And if there's something you really don't want to know, then don't ask. Or if there's something you really don't want to know and you're calling into a public broadcasting show, then don't ask. Because sometimes, and they will come back and they will say, if you really want to know, then I will tell you, but otherwise I think we should take this call offline.
Yeah.
You call me at this number or email this to me or something like that, and let's then talk about it.
Right.
I respect that. It's people with abilities like that to read into your life, into your skills, into your energy, into your Akashic records, that can tell you a lot about what you do and what you need to do or who you are to help to make you a better person. And it goes back into that motivational side of it that can lead you and guide you through certain things. So a lot of times people, even today, the public knowledge and awareness between the shows of Medium with Alison DuBois or Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt, or Psychic Kids with Chip Coffey, they go into to helping people. And that's what people need to realize. Most of the time they're there to help you. Just don't take advantage of it.
Right.
Because once you start playing inside that world, inside that realm of psychics and mediums and spirits, that world we do, then it can be a little unnerving. It can be a little unsettling, some of the stuff that you don't get back.
Right. Who do you have on your show?
Good question. It goes back with what I was mentioning before about, I study ghostology. In terms of the paranormal, there's several different fields of paranormal. So there's UFOs, there's UFOlogy, there's cryptozoology, people who study Sasquatch and Bigfoot, there's, or Loch Ness Monster, and then there's ghostology, which people who study spirits and ghosts. And there's several different fields, but the main one that I study is ghosts. My specialty within that ghost, when it's like asking somebody, hey, are you a doctor? Yes, I am a doctor. What kind of doctor are you? Oh, I'm a foot doctor. Oh, I'm a heart doctor. Or I'm a brain doctor, or something like that. My specialty is in terms of psychic mediums. What's so interesting about Hundreds of the Night on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. is my co-host, or actually the original founder of the show, is Deborah Collard, and she is the psychic medium. So I do most of my research on her on a one-to-one basis. We'll go out to different cases or different events, and I'll study the stuff that she does live. Now, on our show, you can see that chemistry that we've built over the years. I've known her for a long time. You can see that chemistry we've built over the years because we've bantered back and forth very, very well. Because she knows I'm a hard science person, and she's on the metaphysical side. And so it's great. Whenever people come on our show, they already know that. So, okay, well, there's Deborah and there's Bryan. And so we have people on who are, like just last weekend, we had on Robert Bruce, the world-renowned astral projection gentleman from Australia. We'll have on different paranormal investigation teams. We've had on Lord Auerbach, which is in terms of science, some of the stuff that he does. He's a paranormal person as well, so he studies on the more hard science part of it. Just different groups. And we're looking to bring in different people in general from all aspects. We've actually had on Ken Gerard, who is a cryptozoologist as well. And he sat there and talked about his study of Bigfoot and his study of Sasquatch. And we've also had people who study UFOs, such as the MUFON organizations and the Alabama director here who resides here in Southern Alabama. And his thoughts and his processes of what aliens are and what's going on about the world. So it's a paranormal show. While, yes, I do study on the ghost side and Deborah is on the ghost side, we do look at paranormal in all genres. So we have a lot of fun with it. We have a lot of good guests.
That's pretty interesting. And, I'm into a lot of bands, and I have a lot of bands that are friends of mine and that will be on the show eventually, and a lot of music and talent like that. And, even the film directors that I have on and producers, you would find it really interesting to talk to those people, Bryan, because they have had these paranormal experiences. And I don't know if it's something maybe that circles people who are very talented. They're opened up in a way that they could see and hear some of the things that go on that you hear people talk about with ghosts, or I don't know just what it is, but there's something there. These talented people, their minds just, I guess they just open up and they're constantly active, and I don't know what it is, Bryan, but you might like to talk to some of them too. It's just stuff that I'm not used to every day, talking to people and them telling me their ghost story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The interesting part you're talking about film directors and actors and people, if you look at the two halves of the brain, one's very scientific side of it, which is hard-nosed, and the other is more creative. You'll find that most directors are on the more creative side of it. And so they don't battle the problem that, like myself as an engineer, has to have about hard facts. They don't battle that side of the brain. And so they're more open and more perceptive to anything out of the ordinary. I do agree with you on that, though, because I've worked with several different production crews before. And one of the funniest ones that I worked with here this past summer, I was in Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee, and MTV was filming Deborah to do a show which is now out called, it's on True Life, but I Have a Paranormal Ability, and I was actually training the young psychic that she was working with on paranormal investigation techniques. Well, while we're filming, one of the producers and the camera person is standing there next to some of my equipment, and the whole hospital is just absolutely haunted. Fabulous place if you ever get a chance to go there. But while we're sitting there filming, the electronics start freaking out. And the look on the lady who was the camera person at the time looks down at me, looks at the equipment, because she heard it. And camera crews have exceptional audio equipment and video equipment. I mean, crystal clear type of headphones and mics and everything. That was the dollars for the equipment. And it starts freaking out on her, and she could hear it loud and clear. And so I see what's going on because I study that and I'll observe it to changes like that. And she looks at me with this look on her face. And I guess she wasn't expecting to believe it or whatever else. And I looked back at her, and I did one of those smiles, breath, laughter kind of thing. I said, yeah, I know, right? And she could hear my laughter. She could hear my smile, like you said. I'm going to quote that, by the way. I like that. Hear my smile. But she was just like, oh, my God. It was amazing. I was like, yeah, I know, right? So you're right. They do. They are more sensible with that. So that's a good observation that you noted there. Do you ever think about it in terms of one side of the brain versus the other side of the brain?
Yeah, I had thought of that before, but I couldn't place. I've been so busy over the last few weeks with these interviews, and it just seems like things just run together sometimes, and
Yeah.
sitting here talking to you, it all came back, and it's like everybody has had a story like that. What's the deal? You know, I'm in the entertainment business here, and I'm interviewing all of these entertaining people, talented people, and I'm hearing all these stories. It's pretty amazing.
It is, and one of the best shows that I've seen on TV, and this actually happens to me a lot whenever I go out to places and I do charity events, or people find out where I'm someplace public and people find out what I do, they'll pull me off to the side, because I live in Mobile, Alabama, which is the Bible Belt of the South. It's very Southern Baptist, very taboo here in the town. Mobile is incredibly active. If anybody gets a chance to come here and study ghost research, give me a call. I'll take you around some of the places, because it's an incredibly active city, 300 years old, full of history. But they'll pull me off to the side, and they'll say, I couldn't say this in front of so-and-so. I didn't want anybody to know, but I've got to talk to you about this. I've got to tell somebody. And it's like that. So it doesn't surprise me that everybody has these different stories. And one of the favorite shows that I like that's on television is called My Celebrity Ghost Story.
Oh,
and it's about actors.
I love that,
Actors. I know, isn't it one of the best shows out there?
I just love
they
it.
tell their real life story.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's so, and you didn't know all these people had all these stories, you know, and it's just, I don't know.
And it takes a lot for those actors to talk about it publicly, because again, it's very taboo. Even in 2010, we've had 7 years of we're a Taps Family Team, Ghost Hunters of the South Taps Family Team, and so we're part of Ghost Hunters, which is on Sci-Fi. Even though we've had 7 or 8 years, I think that's how long the season has been airing so far, and the publicity of it has been very, very positive. A lot of people hate to talk about it, and so for actors and very public figures to come on and talk about it, it's putting their credibility on the line a lot of times, just because of people say, oh, wow, he thinks he saw a ghost. Is he crazy? Well, no, he's not crazy, but he is, because of his creative ability to be more susceptible to it. It doesn't surprise me that more and more actors don't get on My Celebrity Ghost Stories, that don't talk more about it, just because of their ability to be open, which is a good thing. It's a very, very good, positive thing.
Yeah, it is. Be sure and tell everybody, the web addresses so that they can find you and your show.
Site is jihad.net, GHOTS.net, and you can find me on Facebook, MySpace, under Bryan Lee Whatley, or just Bryan Whatley. I'm on Twitter as well. We do have a fan page for our actual group. Our group is more scientific based because of it belonging to TAPS. Now, my individual research is about psychic mediums and stuff that I do, but I try to tie a little bit into the group as well. But you can find us on Facebook underneath Ghost Hunters of the South. The radio show, like I said, we're moving Haunted Southern Nights. It will air on Tuesdays, as it always has. I really kept it at that date because it's been broadcasting for 4 years now. At 8 o'clock, we'll move over to Talk Shoe for now, and we've got a little bit of works coming into play for video streaming and some other stuff that's coming out in the future. But consider blog talk changes that are going on. We're picking up and moving over the talk shows to Talk Shoe. So fan me on I don't have a fan page, but friend me on Facebook, and every Tuesday night, somewhere between 7 or 8, you'll see me broadcast links, and just follow the link. It's like the Yellow Brick Road.
Okay.
Follow the Yellow Brick link. So,
and
it will take you straight to us.
You probably need to set up a fan page.
I probably do. I'm getting close to that limit. I forgot to mention also Parachallenge Radio. I do the news section on there. It's a 10-minute news section there in the middle of it. And what that does, it's a pre-recorded show that I do. I go out and I'll look at all the different happenings of paranormal, all the different genres of it, and report every week on that. So check that out on parachallengeradio.com. That aired on Tuesday between 7 to 9 p.m. Central as well. So you'll catch my news segment somewhere around 8 o'clock, I think it's whenever they air it in midway. And my email address is Bryan_Whatley@Comcast.net. That's my personal email address. If you want to reach me at Jihad, then it's Bryan@Jihad.net. That's not my center on Comcast, which is perfectly fine.
Okay. Everybody, get this man in there to talk to your groups of people. He will make them happy, and he will teach them to smile.
That's always a good thing.
Okay. Thanks, Bryan, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Christy. Awesome.